Dear students, until the last video, we have discussed many parts of a research proposal. So we have covered almost 80% of the contents of a research proposal. Now, before finishing the last few topics of a research proposal, which is research methodology and introduction, I want to show you why we are doing a research proposal and how do we move from a research proposal to writing a thorough research report. Now, if you remember from one of the last videos, we discussed about research proposal. And there I said that a research proposal is a concise summary of your proposed research. Now, why do we do a research? Again, I have already discussed it earlier. However, just to tell you again, we do a research proposal to justify the purpose of our research, to show the benefits of conducting a research work, and to get necessary funding from our boss, right? We need money to do research, and for that we need to get the proposal approved. Let me give you an example here. Say you work for Netflix. Now you want to do a research on Netflix. So for that, the very first thing we need to do is to prepare a research proposal on Netflix, which is a concise summary of the research, and then present that summary to my boss. Now, after reading the proposal, if the boss is really happy, then he will approve that research and I will get the necessary funding. And only after getting the approval, I can start doing my actual research. So again, why do we do a research proposal? To get necessary funding and approval. Now, just to briefly show you, these are the different parts of a research proposal. So when we submit a research proposal, we have already written all of these parts. Now, say once you place the proposal to your boss, your proposal is approved. You have done a very good job there. So now you are allowed to start your actual research work. Now you can go to the field, collect data, and start writing your actual research report. You can start conducting your research. Now remember, in the research proposal, you have written all of these parts. Now the question is, once the proposal gets approved, are all of these parts meaningless? Is it like I just throw them away? Or can I use them in my upcoming research report? So can I include whatever I have written till now in my actual research report that I'm going to write in the future? And the answer is yes. All of the things that I have written or I wrote in a research proposal can be included in a research report as well. So we don't need to throw any of the things that we have written till now in the research report. So we can include all of these points in the research report as well. Now the question is why? Because the research proposal was the summary of what we are going to do in the actual research. So obviously we can include the summary in the research report, right? So just like our research proposal, in the research report, we can also include all of these parts. So we will have an introduction in the research proposal. We will have an introduction in the research report as well. We will have a literature review in the research proposal, and we will have a literature review in the research report as well. And the same rule applies for all the remaining portions as well. Now the question is, what is the difference between these two then? Very valid thinking and very valid question. Now the answer is, research proposal is the summary of all of these things. In the research report, we write all of these but in much more detail. So in the research report, the introduction is much bigger, the literature review is much bigger, and so on. So finally, in the research report, we have all of these parts plus some other details. Don't worry, I will show you how to write a research report right in the next video and in very detail. I have 3 videos on writing a research report, so don't worry about that right now. Alright, so the purpose of creating this video was to show you these points. So number 1, a research proposal is the very first stage where we write a summary of our proposed research. So that is the very first stage. Why do we need that? By seeing the proposal, if the boss is happy, he or she allows me to do the research. Now after getting approval, we start doing the actual research and again start writing the main research report. Now, when writing the research report, we must keep in mind this point. Whatever we have written in the research proposal, we can include that in our actual report or main research report as well. So nothing of it goes away. We do not have to throw anything out. Now, finally, besides these parts from the research proposal, we also provide a lot of other details in the research report, which I will show you very, very soon. Don't worry about it. So these were all the points that I wanted to show you in this small video. Now, let me tell you some good news, very, very good news for this semester. I wanted to share it with you after you are done with your first quiz. So here it goes. The first good news, you do not have to submit any separate research proposal this semester. All right? So in the earlier semesters, I used to take research proposal, then I went through it, then I approved it, and the research started after that. For this semester, we do not need a separate research proposal. Second, only the research report is needed. However, even for that, we are taking a much shorter version this time. So frankly speaking, we are cutting down the load to half. So if the report earlier was 50 pages for the whole group of 6 people, it is only 25 pages for 6 people this time. Because again, it is an exceptional semester and many of you may have some other responsibilities to cover. Now the third good news is term paper submission will be taken in parts. So I said this earlier in the very first video that rather than waiting for the term paper till the very end, we will take the submission in different parts. What we mean by that? Say you have your first assignment and the assignment will ultimately contribute to your term paper. So we will give the assignment in such a way that by completing that assignment, we will ultimately be completing some portion of our term paper. Same applies to assignment 2. So after doing assignment 2, you will find out that you have ultimately completed some portion of your term paper. So after completing assignment 1 and assignment 2, you will find out that 50% of your term paper is done already. Now the remaining 50% will be taken in the final submission. So during the final submission, we will ask you to compile all of these and then submit the final term paper. So what is the benefit of that? Rather than hurrying at the very last moment when all the subject loads accumulate together and you have to start working on all of the submissions, we have divided the submission into parts and decided to reduce the load on you. So I guess that will help you in some way. So yes, there will be no load or no rush at the very end of the semester. So these are all of the good news that I wanted to share with you. So yes, the purpose of this video is done. Now please note in the very next video, I'm going to show you how to write a research report from the very beginning till the very end in thorough detail. Alright, so listen to those videos very carefully. Thank you for now. See you in the next video very soon.